about you, which could make them crazy about you. To a narcissist, you seem like a resilient pane of glass, guarding them against dirt and damage, preventing their fragile state from breaking. You bear the weight of harm and stress entirely. However, the narcissist neglects the pivotal role you play in their life. Regardless of how much protection and support you offer, they eventually notice the accumulated dust and grime, dismissing it with a casual remark like, "Oh, it looks quite worn out." They decide it must be eliminated from their existence, deeming the very shield you provide as detrimental. By devaluing you in this manner, they essentially discard you. Later, they find themselves surprised, exclaiming, "Oh my God, my life is perfect. Everything is in order," only to crumble because there is no longer a barrier, no protector. It's at this point they start yearning for your presence. Let's delve deeper into this topic in the current episode. Hello everyone. Warm greetings to my channel. Your presence is truly valued. Before we delve into today's discussion on why a narcissist misses you after abandoning you and how they grapple with the consequences, I encourage you to subscribe if you haven't already. Your subscription helps raise awareness about narcissistic abuse. In the presence of a narcissist, you function as their safeguard, a protective barrier against the challenges they may face. In the context of a romantic relationship or marriage, you assume responsibilities such as cooking, cleaning, doing laundry, caring for children, and even seeking employment. You approach these tasks with earnestness, providing them with the autonomy they may lack. Taking on the full burden, you assure them, "Don't worry, I'll handle that," with the hope that it might alter their perception of you or rekindle their affection. Yet, the toll on yourself is immense. As previously mentioned, your role can be likened to tempered glass, preventing them from shattering while enduring the strain. How do they reciprocate? They often take your efforts for granted. No matter how much you do, they continue to exploit and demand more, pinpointing minor flaws in your actions. "You're not doing this right, you're lacking in that, your cooking skills need improvement, and your earnings are lower than so and so." The issue at hand is perpetual, akin to a constantly shifting target. Despite dedicating your life to pleasing them, the insatiable void within them ensures your efforts are never enough. It's an abyss without depth, impossible to fill regardless of the poured-in efforts. Hence, you're well aware that everything revolves around you, with no reciprocity in sight. Your wants, desires, and needs are of no concern to them. The process of devaluation continues until the day of disposal, either initiated voluntarily, responding to your departure, or at their discretion. Although not immediate, they gradually come to recognize your value. However, there is no remorse, acknowledgement of a grave error, intent to improve their character, seek forgiveness, or offer an apology. Seeking absolution is not part of their agenda, and I want to refrain from providing false hope. In reality, they break easily and become aware of your role, significantly impacting my existence. However, this doesn't imply an acknowledgement of the individual who once occupied their lives. It's more akin to recognizing the value of an object, particularly the cumulative worth of every function it served throughout its existence. They start comparing each new source to you, finding it invariably substandard and deficient in some way. No one is willing to make the same sacrifices for them, not because you operated naively, but because you consistently demonstrated unwavering affection, fulfilled responsibilities, and made genuine efforts to provide for them. In the realm of their longings, it's not you as an individual they yearn for, but rather the essence of your affections and the unique role you played in their lives. They miss the empathy, sympathy, and the countless opportunities you generously offered. Curiously, they remain oblivious to the intricate dance of manipulation, where they masterfully convince you of your correctness and their apparent errors. Your unwavering efforts to nurture the relationship are etched in their memory, a testament to your sincerity that will forever linger. Yet, it's crucial to grasp their peculiar perspective. They don't mourn you as a distinct individual, and the reason lies in their obliviousness to your true self. Their perception is frozen in an idealized snapshot they initially crafted, a portrayal that gradually detached from reality. How did they manage this detachment? Through the art of self-deception, using gaslighting to convince themselves of your perceived flaws. In constructing a devalued version of you, they revel in highlighting imperfections, projecting onto you the insecurities they desperately avoid acknowledging. Consequently, they witness a diminishing, reducing you to a mere shadow of the true personality that lies unexplored between the lines. Henceforth, what eludes the narcissist's perception? The yearning for the narcissist is stronger than their own longing for you. In likening their view to tempered glass, my intent was to illustrate their failure to acknowledge you as the instrument fulfilling its designated purpose. The vulnerability sets in upon your departure when they realize the irreplaceability of your absence. Struggling to secure additional sources, they falter in recreating a fantastical version of you. Their dominance crumbles swiftly, transitioning from one person to the next due to impatience and an aversion to cooperative efforts. In essence, the screen shatters easily, leaving no one to absorb the impact. Their approach doesn't involve making lemonade when life presents lemons. Instead, they squeeze those lemons, criticizing their lives, blaming others, and deflecting responsibility. When compelled to perform daily tasks independently, like cooking, cleaning, or managing finances, the stark reality forces them to acknowledge your role. It is in these moments of self-sufficiency, perhaps at the playground or during financial struggles, that thoughts of you may resurface. Not out of genuine desire to provide you another chance, but solely driven by opportunistic motives. That's when the mourning for you might commence. An alternate perspective on this scenario is that you were the most precious gift, offering them immeasurable affection and everything they could desire. What more could they gain from the next person that you haven't already provided, despite their rejection, abuse, exploitation, or misuse? To me, this is their retribution. Life, in my view, revolves around discovering authentic connections, happiness, and, above all, love, a pursuit in which they have failed. They may continue leaping from one individual to the next and one source to another, but that is their perpetual journey. The serenity you tirelessly sought to establish for them will remain elusive. The parallel holds true in the context of a narcissistic parent. Throughout your life, you may have played various roles: scapegoat, enabler, rescuer, or savior. When, as a child or adult child, you decide to disconnect and show no interest in reconnecting, the dynamics shift drastically. You become the target. They strive to win back your favor before launching extensive smear campaigns against you. The underlying principle and storyline remain consistent. It is they who lose the entire supply you once provided, not you. I can affirm this based on my mother's case. Every element I provided, as my entire being and life was dedicated to her safety and well-being, is missed. However, in my absence, who will shoulder that responsibility and fulfill that need? No one. Therefore, you are the one missed. Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Today, we will delve into the intricate world of narcissistic behavior, exploring the aftermath of breakups and abandonment. In this thought-provoking video, we'll dissect the defensive mechanisms and coping strategies employed by narcissists as we unravel the complexities of their experiences during these tumultuous periods. Let's dive in. For a narcissist, a divorce or breakup from a significant relationship marks a substantial shift in their life and inflicts a profound narcissistic injury. Seeking solace and attempting to heal their wounded ego, the narcissist weaves a narrative filled with falsehoods, distortions, partial truths, and imaginative accounts of events. All narcissistic abusers rely on rigid, immature, or even antiquated defense mechanisms. These encompass denial, intellectualization, compartmentalization, projection, projective identification, and of course, narcissism. However, some narcissists take it a step further. Instead of confronting the harsh reality of their shortcomings, they retreat into self-delusion as a form of self-compensation. These narcissists limit themselves to a few options, partially disconnecting from reality. One of these coping mechanisms is masochistic avoidance. In this scenario, the narcissistic abuser punishes themselves for perceived shortcomings by directing some of their rage inward. The added advantage of this masochistic or self-punishing behavior is that it turns those closest to the narcissist into either troubled bystanders or adversaries. In both cases, they are compelled to provide the narcissist with the attention they desperately crave. This self-punishment often manifests as self-handicapping masochism, a strategy to evade accountability by undermining one's own efforts, relationships, and career. Ultimately, a narcissist's post-divorce decisions reflect their deep-seated fears and coping mechanisms. The narcissist is trapped in a painful cycle of self-destruction, ensnaring everyone around them in their chaotic and bewildering web. Intentionally steering clear of additional attention, stress, criticism, and disapproval, all forms of negative reinforcement, the narcissistic abuser's emotional stability continues to waver. They wield their self-inflicted failures as a weapon, a testament to their delusion of control and an assurance that they still dictate their own destiny. In their twisted thinking, they choose to fail. Masochistic abusers like these exhibit a peculiar talent for placing themselves in situations deliberately designed to thwart any chance of success. Milan argued that objectively assessing their performance is highly unlikely. Their behavior follows a pattern marked by caution, withdrawal during peak efforts, persistent fatigue, boredom, or disinterest, ultimately wreaking havoc on their lives through this passive-aggressive strategy. Their clearly defined suffering serves a purpose. It reinforces their perceived omnipotence as they refuse to give in. Public displays of self-pity and discontent act as compensatory measures, shielding the abuser's self-worth from the crushing burden of unworthiness, echoing Milan's insights once again. In their distorted perception, the challenges and suffering endured by narcissistic abusers make them feel special. They see themselves as significant, resilient, moral, virtuous, and saintly. Their pain becomes a source of self-generated narcissistic fuel. Ironically, the more agony and unhappiness they experience after a breakup, the greater the relief and euphoria they feel. In their eyes, initiating the abandonment has liberated them, setting them free. They assert that they never truly desired the commitment, directing blame towards their significant other's alleged despicable behavior, be it a spouse, partner, friend, or boss, contending that the relationship was doomed from the start. In their narrative, they consistently cast themselves as the victim, the misunderstood hero navigating a cruel and unfair world. The delusional narrative stands out as a fascinating and alarming phenomenon within the realm of narcissistic abusers. In this scenario, the narcissist concocts an elevated and often fantastical storyline where they emerge as the undisputed hero. Within this narrative, the narcissist perceives themselves as exceptionally intelligent, flawless, attractive, and destined for monumental success. They view themselves as inherently entitled, robust, affluent, and the focal point of attention. However, as this illusion increasingly diverges from harsh reality, the delusion gains strength, progressively overshadowing the abuser's grasp on reality. Over time, if left unchallenged, this delusion can become so deeply ingrained that the narcissist loses the ability to distinguish between fact and imagination. Consequently, they may begin to withdraw, severing relationships, and may exhibit symptoms of severe psychological conditions such as catatonia, schizoid personality disorder, or schizotypal personality disorder. Post-breakup, narcissistic abusers often display an antisocial response. They share several traits with individuals who engage in illegal activities, notably a lack of empathy and compassion, deficient social skills, and a blatant disregard for morals and societal norms. Gradually, they evolve into fully fledged antisocial individuals exhibiting characteristics associated with psychopathy or sociopathy. In this scenario, the narcissist dismisses the needs and desires of others, engaging in lawlessness, violating both legal and natural rights, and treating people with disdain. They openly defy established laws and mock social conventions and standards, showing contempt for the institutions that govern proper behavior. Viewing themselves as victims coerced into this position by ungrateful and unintelligent individuals in their surroundings, they retaliate by committing crimes that jeopardize others' property, lives, careers, and safety. From the narcissist's distorted perspective, these actions are seen as a form of retribution against those they believe have caused their downfall. This antisocial response to the end of a relationship and being discarded is a chilling manifestation of their skewed worldview. The narcissist's behavior at this stage serves as a stark reminder of the potentially destructive nature inherent in these disturbed individuals. Narcissistic abusers perceive seemingly innocuous daily interactions as personal attacks, developing hypersensitivity to their surroundings. They interpret every glance or sound as offensive, suspecting the spread of malicious rumors, mockery behind their backs, invasion of privacy, and unauthorized access to their emails. The survivor of narcissistic abuse perceives themselves as the central target in a global conspiracy aimed at discrediting and destroying them. They hold the belief that a concerted effort is underway to degrade them, seize their possessions, deceive and deprive them of money, curtail their physical and mental freedom, enforce the will of others upon them, and coerce them into actions or decisions against their wishes. This sense of being under attack leads them to feel pressured, surrounded, besieged, and compelled to compromise their morals and convictions, with fears escalating to the point of potential harm or assassination in extreme cases. In response to these perceived threats, some narcissistic abuse survivors may attempt to completely detach themselves from society, viewing the world as filled with malevolent and threatening individuals seeking to undermine them. It is crucial to understand that these perceived threats are projections and manifestations of the narcissist's inner anxieties and insecurities. Consequently, these individuals may choose to sever most social ties, avoiding new friendships, rejecting romantic relationships, abstaining from sexual encounters, refraining from engaging in conversations, and ceasing communication through any means. This isolation is driven by their distorted worldview, not social awkwardness or shyness. A constant narrative plays in their minds. The world, deemed cruel and sorrowful, is unworthy of their presence or contribution. This decision to isolate is not impulsive, but a direct consequence of their paranoid beliefs, serving as a defense mechanism against the perceived unreal dangers they continuously sense. This extreme reaction following a breakup serves as a disturbing illustration of the narcissistic abuser's capacity to deceive and isolate themselves, offering a stark reminder of the profound psychological damage stemming from a dangerously distorted sense of reality. Within the realm of psychological abusers, a troubling subset, characterized by persecutory delusions, exhibits an aggressive and often explosive behavior. These individuals, commonly identified as narcissists, resort to more violent methods to address their perceived problems as a way of coping with internal turmoil. They undergo a transformation into verbally, psychologically, and situationally abusive individuals, occasionally escalating to physical violence in extreme cases. The primary targets of their unwarranted outbursts are typically those closest to them, loved ones and well-wishers. In their efforts to belittle and mock their targets, narcissistic abusers unleash a barrage of taunts, reprimands, beratings and disparaging remarks. Outbursts of blame, judgment, and self-righteous outrage characterize their behavior. Their view of reality becomes disorganized and warped, interpreting even the most innocuous and unintentional comments as deliberate offenses aimed at degrading their sense of self. Every action and word is perceived by them as intended to be offensive to their identity. Due to their distorted perspective, they perceive the world as inherently against them, triggering malignant anger, disgust, dread, and hatred in response. Their actions resemble a foolish and pitiable spectacle, akin to Don Quixote's futile struggle against windmills in the face of life's harsh realities. Engaging in erratic behavior, they lash out at imaginary foes, often causing significant and lasting harm in the process. Unfortunately, the primary casualties of their actions are usually themselves. In the aftermath of a breakup, their response becomes particularly unpredictable. The loss of a relationship fuels their aggressive tendencies, intensifying their delusions and viewing the separation as a personal failure. This heightened violence stems from the belief that the breakup is a betrayal and an affront to their narcissistic sense of self. Their world transforms into a battleground, where every conversation holds the potential to escalate into a conflict, and every individual is perceived as a potential adversary. Rather than opting for self-isolation as a choice, they do so as a defensive mechanism against a perceived hostile world. Trapped within the confines of their self-constructed cage, they remain ensnared in their distorted reality. Paranoid and aggressive narcissistic abusers stand as a vivid testament to the profound psychological damage stemming from a dangerously skewed perspective of reality. Their violent actions manifest as a frantic and ultimately futile attempt to preserve their fragile sense of self, driven by persecutory fantasies. As we wrap up our exploration into the psychological aftermath of breakups with narcissistic abusers, we've uncovered the territories of paranoid aggression, antisocial behavior, and self-delusion. The self-destructive actions displayed by these individuals are both intriguing and worrisome, offering clear glimpses into the profound consequences of navigating a distorted reality. If you found this analysis compelling, please consider subscribing, liking, and sharing. Your engagement encourages us to delve further into the intricate dimensions of human behavior. We value your willingness to join us on this captivating, albeit often discomforting, journey through the realm of narcissistic responses